Practice session ticking along. Mitchell still waiting to put a time on the board as he navigates the champion curve.
There's no rush in these early stages. Often drivers will take a couple of laps just to feel out the car and the track before pushing for a flying lap. It's all about building confidence.
James Allen setting the early benchmark. A 124.443 puts him at the top of the timesheets for now.
That's a solid lap for this circuit, even in practice. He's found a good rhythm quickly, which is always a positive sign.
Hullum still yet to register a time, focusing on those installation laps, perhaps. Jody Fannin also on track, but without a timed lap to his name yet.
It's all about making sure the car feels right, checking the brakes, the steering. Sometimes you're just scrubbing in new tires, too.
Hullum continues his run, still no timed lap appearing for him. Allen still holding that top spot. His 124.443 remains the quickest lap of the session so far.
You'd expect that time to drop as the session progresses and track conditions improve, but it's a strong marker to lay down early.
This drop through the sweeper now, but yet to put a time on the board.
The sweeper is a great test of a car's balance through a fast flowing corner. It's crucial to get that right for a good lap.
Allen's still the pace setter, taking his time through Coca-Cola Corner on another run.
Even the quickest drivers will use these early laps for setup validation. It's not just about the outright speed yet.
Mitchell still on circuit, no time registered for him yet as the clock ticks down.
Sometimes teams have a very specific plan for practice, focusing on long runs or aero checks before any push laps.
Allen maintains his lead, guiding his car through Recaro Corner with that 124.443 still the fastest. And a new fastest lap, Niall Geoghegan clocks a 1:24.388, slotting into P1. Astrop, now on the board, a 1:26.113 places him fifth. Geoghegan through Recaro. He's dropped a second now, but that 1:24.388 is still a very strong lap. Astrop shaves some time off. Now a 1:25.851, still holding fifth position as he navigates Momo Corner.
Every 10th counts, even in practice. Drivers are fine-tuning their lines, trying different approaches to maximize corner exit speed, especially through a tight one like Momo.
Mitchell still without a lap time registered as the session continues. Walters through Coca-Cola Corner. No time on the board for him just yet. Jareth Hallam makes their way through the sweeper, pushing the pace.
Keep an eye on how Jareth Hallam handles the curves at the sweeper. It's a good indicator of the car's balance.
Constable Barry registers his first time, a 1:25.463, putting him into sixth as he corners at Shell. Walter's still out there, yet to set a lap time.
It's not uncommon for some drivers to spend more time on their initial setup laps, especially if they have new parts to evaluate.
Constable Barry holds that sixth spot with his 1:25.463, a decent start for him. Aiden McKenna on the board now, a 126.715, putting him into P8 as he navigates shell corner.
He'll be looking to shave off some time from that. The first timed lap is often a benchmark, and then the real work begins.
Daniel Kosick begins their out lap, feeling out the track conditions.
This outlap is crucial for setting up the car's systems and getting a feel for the track.
Walters finally gets a time in. A 125.038 places him 5th, pushing hard through the O'Brien aluminium dogleg. Josh Mitchell has set a best lap time of 126.986 so far. Kucha's still circulating through shell corner. Still no timed lap from him.
Sometimes you just need to keep feeding information back to the garage. It's a team effort, not just about one flying lap.
You know, John took home the VVS Driver Championship last year, so I'm sure he'll be working hard to protect his title.
Wasn't that only because he attended more events than anyone else?
That's true, but let's let him dream.
Ooh. Ouch.
Mitchell holds P9 with his 126.986, but other drivers are starting to put down faster times.
He'll need to find some extra tenths if he wants to stay in the top 10.
Astrup remains in 6th at 125.139 holding firm for now. Jody Fannin with a strong first showing, a 124.531 puts him into 4th position. McKenna still in P8 with his 126.715, plenty of time left to improve. Kokusis puts a time on the board, a 127.305, slotting him into 10th as he crosses under the Yokohama Bridge. Walters improves significantly, a 124.527 now, rocketing him up to 3rd place through Champion Curve.
That's a fantastic improvement. He's really pushing the car and finding some serious pace out there now. Good consistent driving.
Hallam makes a big jump, a 124.374, putting him into 2nd position. Walters, now 4th, takes Coca-Cola Corner, his 124.527, still a very competitive time. Constable Barry improves his time, a 124.879, moving him up to 6th. Thomas Kruger Dorado enters the fray, still no time on the clock for him yet. Walters makes another improvement, a 124.451, but that only moves him to 5th as he sweeps through Coca-Cola Corner. Hallam through the O'Brien aluminium dogleg. He's dropped his spot to 3rd, but that 124.374 remains a strong time. Allen just clocked 123.925. Can they improve on this lap? Walters improves again, a 124.435, but remains in 5th position. Kosis finds some more pace, now a 1:25.791, moving him up to 8th. Neil's last lap was a 1:25.567, aiming to shave off some seconds here.
As the session progresses, Neil Constable-Berry is dialing in, looking more confident with each lap.
Jareth Hallam has set a best lap time of 1:24.374 so far.
Jareth is really starting to push now, analyzing every sector for potential improvements.
Mitchell holds P10, but he's losing ground as others improve their times. Jody Fannin lights up the timing screens, a 1:23.687, rocketing him into second position.
Wow, that's a serious lap. He's really extracted some performance there, finding grip and precision to deliver that kind of time.
Astrop has fallen to 8th, his 1:25.139 now under threat from those behind. Fannin still second, looking composed through Recaro corner. His 1:23.687 the time to beat.
He's definitely found a sweet spot with the car. That lap wasn't just fast, it was clean. That's how you extract maximum performance.
A new leader, Nigel Walters, with an incredible 1:23.609. He jumps to P1. Mac McFarker joins the session, navigating the O'Brien aluminium dogleg. Still no time posted. Now several laps into the session, James Allen looks to refine their line and timing. John took home the VVS Driver Championship last year, so I'm sure he'll be working hard to protect his title.
Wasn't that only because he attended more events than anyone else?
That's true, but let's let him dream.
Ooh. Ouch.
Mitchell holds P10 through Momo Corner, still looking for that extra 10th. Mac McFarquhar is on their practice out lap, warming up the tires.
Mac McFarquhar will be testing the limits, making sure everything's in sync for the faster laps to come.
James Allen has set a best lap time of 1:23.790 so far.
James is really starting to push now, analyzing every sector for potential improvements.
Joel Lemrick has joined the session, but no lap time from him yet. Mitchell improves, a 126.639, holding on to 10th as he exits Coca-Cola Corner. Kokes finds some significant pace. A 125.112 moves him up to 8th. Mitchell holds P10 for now, but still looking for more speed. Now, several laps into the session, Jareth Hallam looks to refine their line and timing. David Constable-Berry on the board now. A 125.688 places him 10th as he exits Champion Curve. Some say he has no face and that he's confused by stairs. All we know is he's called the Kiwi. Constable Barry makes a big jump, a 124.414, putting him into 6th as he corners through Coca-Cola. Walters, now in 2nd, still holds that blistering 123.609, a very strong showing. Chris Stokes has set a best lap time of 124.462 so far.
Chris is really starting to push now, analyzing every sector for potential improvements.
Allen remains in 3rd, his 123.790 still highly competitive. Jody Fannin takes P1, an incredible 123.478. He's set a new benchmark.
Competing at VVS for over 5 years now, make Martin one of the veterans.
Constable Barry drops to 11th, but he's through Champion Curve and looking to improve. Now, several laps into the session, Josh Mitchell looks to refine their line and timing.
Josh is really starting to push now, analyzing every sector for potential improvements.
Kostas finds a significant chunk of time, a 124.713, which moves him up to 10th. Mall shaves off some time, a 124.066. He remains in 5th. Astrup improves a 124.579 that moves him up to 9th.
Competing at VVS for over 5 years now, make Martin one of the veterans.
Coach is holding that 10th spot with his 124.713, but the times are getting ever closer. Maximilian Turbin joins the session. No time on the board for him yet. Cooks is holding on to P10. His time still a 124.713. Constable Barry in 11th, negotiating Foster's dip, his time a 124.762. Mull holds 5th, his 124.066, still standing strong. Walters goes even faster, a 123.323, a new fastest lap, absolutely flying through Momo Corner. Maximilian's last lap was a 124.562, aiming to shave off some seconds here. Kosius drops to 11th, navigating Foster's dip, looking for more speed. Sam Zero out on track now, but still yet to register a lap time.
With just over 12 minutes left, they'll need to get a move on if they want to put down a representative time.
Nigel Walters has set a best lap time of 1:23.323 so far.
Nigel is really starting to push now, analyzing every sector for potential improvements.
Turbin finds more pace, a 1:24.322, moving him up to 7th. Walters still dominating the session, P1 with his 1:23.323. John Boone-Takis gets on the board, a 1:24.593, putting him into 11th. Josh Mitchell has set a best lap time of 1:25.988 so far.
Competing at VVS for over 5 years now, make Martin one of the veterans.
Astrop improves, a 1:24.321, moving him up to 8th. Phil Bodkin gets on the board with a 1:25.650, putting him into 14th through Champion Curve. Kruger Dorado still yet to register a lap time, with just over 7 minutes remaining. Maul goes P1. An astonishing 123.308. He's absolutely flying through Foster's dip. Nico Vaughn on track for the first time through Coca-Cola Corner. No time from him yet. Constable Barry improves slightly, a 124.753, but he's dropped to 13th as he navigates Foster's dip. Jody's last lap was a 242.722, aiming to shave off some seconds here.
As the session progresses, Jody Fannin is dialing in, looking more confident with each lap.
Astropol's ninth with his 124.321, but others are closing in fast. Sam Zero finally on the board. A 125.779 puts him into 15th. The Tarmac Terrorists just clocked 124.554. Can they improve on this lap?
As the session progresses, Maximilian Turbin is dialing in, looking more confident with each lap.
Constable Barry drops another spot, now P14. His 124.753 needs improving.
Competing at VVS for over 5 years now, make Martin one of the veterans.
Bodkin improves his time, a 124.665, moving him up to 12th through Recaro corner. Mitchell just clocked 301.849. Can they improve on this lap? Thomas Kruger Dorado makes their way through Recaro corner, pushing the pace. McKenna is down in 18th, his 126.715 as he comes through the O'Brien aluminium dogleg with seconds ticking away.
Not much time left to put in a flying lap now. You have to be absolutely perfect to find a significant improvement in these final moments.
And Bounticus makes a late charge, a 123.871, jumping up to 7th as the clock hits 0 through Shell corner.
What a way to end the session. He found a superb amount of pace right at the very end. That's a great confidence booster.
Astrop is holding on to P10 with his 124.321, but with just 30 seconds left, he'll need to be perfect for any improvement. Kosis improves his time to a 124.630, but that still only places him 13th. Welcome to Oran Park Grand Prix Circuit, where qualifying is about to get underway. It's a brisk 12 knots of wind out there, which could certainly play a factor. Qualifying is officially underway here at Oran Park. We've got 4 minutes and 46 seconds remaining on the clock, and Jody Fannin is yet to set a lap time.
You don't want to leave it too late on a track like this. Finding clear air is always the biggest challenge, something I learned very quickly myself.
Down to 4 minutes 21 seconds left in qualifying. Aidan McKenna is currently navigating the Coca-Cola corner, still looking to put a time on the board.
The Coca-Cola corner can be tricky, it's a fast entry, and really sets you up for the run towards the bridge. Getting that right is crucial for a quick lap.
Just 3 minutes 49 seconds on the clock now. Niall Geohegan is still searching for a competitive lap time as qualifying winds down. Time is really ticking away here in qualifying. Jody Fannin has yet to post a time with only 3 minutes 25 seconds remaining. Jody Fannin crosses the line, a 1:24.053, and that immediately puts them in provisional pole position. What a lap.
That's a strong marker to lay down. Getting it right on the second lap means they found the rhythm quickly, which is exactly what you want to do in a short session like this.
Martin Moll slots into P2 with a 1:24.183, just a whisker off Fannin's provisional pole. We've got 1 minute 52 seconds left in this session. Thomas Kruger-Dorado posts a 1:26.012, placing him in P14. Still time to improve with 1 minute 42 seconds left.
Every 10th will count at this stage. It's about putting all those sectors together, not just one good corner.
Maximilian Turbin is flying. They're currently 0.52 seconds up on their best lap, which was a 1:24.767 in P7. This could be a big improvement.
This is where the pressure really builds. You know you're on a good lap, and it's all about keeping it clean through those final corners. It's a fantastic feeling when it comes together.
Jody Fannin is pushing hard. Still in P1, but they are 0.2 seconds quicker than their best through the O'Brien Aluminium dogleg. They're on a flyer. And Fannin improves again, a 1:23.770. That is a phenomenal lap, and cements their place at the top of the leaderboard with only 44 seconds left.
They just keep finding time. That's a real statement, especially as everyone else is scrambling for their final runs. It gives them a bit of breathing room at the front.
Martin Moll with a 1:23.871, jumping up to P3. They're still on a push lap and currently 0.01 seconds up on that time, with only 26 seconds remaining.
They are absolutely on the limit. Every single fraction of a second is crucial now. It's all about precision in these dying moments.
Aidan McKenna is pushing for an improvement. They are 0.02 seconds up on their best 1:27.286 lap. But with only 5 seconds left, it will be incredibly tight. David Constable-Barry is absolutely charging through Foster's dip, currently in P4, but they are 0.24 seconds up on their best lap with just 6 seconds left.
Foster's dip requires real commitment, and to be gaining time there under this pressure, they're really pushing the limits. This could be a dramatic end to qualifying.
Maximilian Turbin is flying through the O'Brien aluminium dogleg, 0.19 seconds up on their 124.539. Can they hold it together for a jump up the order? Maximilian Turbin with a cracking lap. A 124.013 sees them jump up to P4. That's a significant improvement. Martin Moll is on a charge, still P3, but they're currently 0.2 seconds ahead of their own best time, with 51 seconds left. Can they challenge Fannin? Phil Bodkin is looking good out there, 0.14 seconds up on their best lap of 125.679. They sit in P17 with just over a minute left on the clock. Aidan McKenna is having a strong run now, P19 at the moment, but they're 0.35 seconds up on their personal best lap. Welcome, race fans. We're at Oran Park Grand Prix Circuit, a brisk 6 knots of wind, and the atmosphere is electric for the start. On pole position, it's James Allen from the UK in his TCL Lotus Cortina MKI, heading up the Pro-Am class today. Lining up alongside him in second, it's Jody Fannin, also in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI, a formidable pro-class driver.
Those Cortinas are always a handful at Oran Park. You need to be precise through the turns, especially the dogleg. Power is one thing, but stability here is key.
And in third, completing an all-Cortina front three, we have Martin Moll from the Netherlands, another pro-class contender.
It's fascinating to see 3 Cortinas at the front. It speaks volumes about driver skill and car setup. Finding that sweet spot for balance and traction in these cars can make all the difference, particularly into turns 1 and 2.
Maximilian Turbin from England, an AM-class driver, will be starting from 5th position, also in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI. David Constable-Barry, another English driver, also in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI, starts just behind Turbin in 6th, a Pro-Am class entry. From Ireland, Niall Geokeegan takes up 7th position on the grid, another AM class driver in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
7th is a decent starting position at Oran Park, especially with the potential for a clean run into the first few corners. Being in the middle of the pack can offer opportunities if you can spot a gap early, but it also carries risk of getting caught up.
Daniel Kosik from Hungary starts from 9th, a Pro-Am driver, also in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI. John Astrop from New Zealand, a pro-class driver, rounds out the top 10 starters, another competitor in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
Starting 10th here means you're right in the thick of it for the run down to the first turn. You need to be aggressive but smart, picking your line to avoid any early congestion. It's about conserving tires and not getting any damage in those opening laps.
Further back on the grid, in 12th, it's John Bontakis from Greece, an AM-class driver also in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
From 12th, the focus will be on making up positions consistently. It's easy to get frustrated if you get stuck behind a slower car. The patience often pays off. Knowing when to push and when to hold back is key, especially early on.
Josh Mitchell from Italy will start from 14th position, an AM-class driver in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI. Neil Constable-Barry from the United Kingdom, an AM-class driver, starts from 15th, also in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
From the middle of the pack like this, it's all about finding clear air and making progress without getting into trouble. The key is to be aggressive but smooth, not overdriving the car in the early laps.
On the 16th grid slot, we have Phil Bodkin.
Phil will need to make up some places today.
Sitting in 17th, it's Thomas Kruger-Dorado.
Thomas is going to have to show some skill from here.
Aidan McKenna from Ireland, an AM-class driver, will be starting from 18th position in his TCL Lotus Cortina MKI. And the lights are out. We are green at Oran Park, and the race is officially underway. Through turn 1 and onto the straight, James Allen holds onto that lead, still P1. James Allen, from pole position, maintains his lead as they navigate the first lap.
Holding the lead from the start is absolutely critical here. It means clean air, and you can dictate the pace. Getting through those opening corners cleanly without losing momentum is a huge advantage.
A good start for Neil Constable-Berry, up 2 places from 15th to 13th. On the other side of the coin, Tim Weller has dropped back 2 spots from 13th to 15th.
Sometimes you just get squeezed in those opening corners. It's about recovering from here. You can't panic, just focus on regaining those positions with controlled aggression.
Tim Weller is on the move, gaining a place and now running in 14th position.
He's managed to put some crucial distance between himself and Josh Mitchell, who is now behind in 16th with a 1.5-second gap. That's a good recovery, keeping the pressure off.
We've switched focus to Josh Mitchell in 16th, with Nico Vaughn just 0.1 seconds behind in 17th. This is a real battle for position.
This kind of close racing on lap 1 is brutal. Mitchell's 1:42.543 lap time shows he's finding his rhythm, but Vaughn is right there. With 10 minutes plus 1 lap left, every 10th will count, especially around the tight sections.
Josh Mitchell has gained a position, now up to 15th. He's made some ground on Nico Vaughn.
He has indeed. That gap is now out to 0.6 seconds. That's good work in these early stages, finding space and putting a little distance on the car behind.
Now with John Astrop in 9th, he's hot on the heels of Nigel Walters in 8th, just 0.4 seconds separating them, with Astrop's last lap at 1:35.535.
That 0.4 second gap is an invitation. When you're that close, you're constantly looking for a weakness, a missed apex, anything. It means Astrop is right in the slipstream potential, and I know from experience that pressure can make a driver push that little bit harder, or sometimes too hard.
Down the order to Nico Vaughn in 17th, trailing Aidan McKenna in 16th by just 0.3 seconds. Another tight battle developing. Nico Vaughn is still holding 17th, keeping the pressure on Aidan McKenna with that 0.3 second gap remaining. Josh Mitchell is now right on the gearbox of Tim Weller, just 1/10 of a second separating them for 14th position. Mitchell's last lap, a rapid 1:26.904. Josh Mitchell makes the move. He's through into 14th position.
And he's already pulled out his 0.5 second gap on Tim Weller. That's a textbook pass, clean and decisive. He saw the opportunity and took it immediately, without hesitation. That's how you make up ground in a competitive field.
Whoa, what a change. Josh Mitchell has dropped all the way back to 20th position.
He's lost 6 places and is now 11.3 seconds behind Tim Weller. That's a huge shift in the running order. Something significant must have happened for him to lose so much time and so many places so quickly. You don't just lose 6 spots without a reason. It could be anything from a mistake to contact.
David Constable-Berry in 5th, closing right in on Chris Stokes in 4th, only 2/10 separating them. Constable-Berry's last lap was a 1:24.014. The gap to Chris Stokes has grown slightly to 0.4 seconds, but David Constable-Berry is still very much in contention for 4th. What a start we've had here at Oran Park. The action has been absolutely relentless, especially in the midfield.
It always is here. This circuit doesn't give you a moment to breathe. As a driver, you're constantly fighting the car, the track, and everyone around you.
We saw that dramatic drop for Josh Mitchell, going from 14th all the way back to 20th. That must be incredibly frustrating.
It is. Something definitely happened there, whether it was a small spin, contact, or maybe just running wide. Those moments can cost you so much time and momentum. Regaining that focus after a setback like that is one of the hardest parts of racing.
It really highlights how quickly things can change in motor racing. One moment you're making progress, the next you're on the back foot.
Exactly, and it's not just about raw speed, it's about mental resilience and the ability to adapt. I've had races where I've lost a few spots early, and the immediate thought is, how do I get that back? It takes discipline to not overdrive.
We're seeing some great consistency from the frontrunners, though, particularly James Allen maintaining his lead.
That's the hallmark of a strong drive. No mistakes. Hitting your marks lap after lap. It's deceptively difficult when you're under pressure. Oran Park demands absolute precision. No room for error anywhere on this track.
It's clear we have a very competitive field today, across all classes.
Absolutely, and the Cortinas are proving to be a fantastic race car here. They're quick, but they require a delicate touch, especially through the complex sections. It's going to be an exciting finish, no doubt about it.
Jareth Hallam in 17th is right on the tail of Sam Zero in 16th, just 2/10 separating them, with Hallam posting a 125.352 last lap. Jareth Hallam makes the pass. He's through into 16th position.
That was a quick turnaround from the last update. He clearly found a way past Sam Zero, and that 0.2 second gap suggests it was a very tight, hard-fought move, probably a dive up the inside or a cutback.
That move by Jareth Hallam was well executed, another example of how competitive this midfield truly is.
Absolutely, those kinds of passes, especially when the gap is so tight, require a lot of trust and precision. You have to commit, but you also have to be aware of the car next to you.
We're seeing battles all the way through the grid, not just at the front. Every position seems to be hotly contested.
It's what makes endurance racing so thrilling, even in these shorter formats. Drivers aren't just racing the clock, they're racing each other for every inch of tarmac. I always found those mid-pack battles to be incredibly intense, sometimes more so than fighting for the lead, because there's more traffic and variables.
And with just 6 minutes plus a lap remaining, the strategy might start shifting from pure pace to preserving position or making one last lunge.
Exactly. You start thinking about tire wear, fuel if it were a longer race, but mostly about how much risk you can afford to take. Do you make that aggressive move now, or do you wait for a mistake from the driver ahead? It's a calculated gamble.
The track conditions at Oran Park, with that consistent wind, must also be a factor, even if it's not a major gale.
Oh, definitely. Even a light breeze can affect the aerodynamics, especially on the faster sections or if you're battling for slipstream. It might not be visible to the eye, but the drivers will feel it through the steering, particularly in these lighter cars. It's another subtle challenge.
It's all these little details that separate the good drivers from the great ones, isn't it?
It is. The ability to manage all those inputs, the car, the track, the competition, the conditions, and still extract every ounce of performance. That's the art of it. Every lap is negotiation with physics and risk.
David Constable Berry continues to chase Chris Stokes for 4th, still 0.4 seconds the gap. Constable Berry's last lap was a 124.116, with his best a 123.811, and we have just 4 minutes plus a lap remaining.
That 0.4 second gap is significant with so little time left. He put in a quicker lap earlier, so the pace is there, but he's got to find a way to consistently bridge that gap in these final minutes without overdriving. It's a fine balance of aggression and patience at this point.
John Astrop in 8th is closing on Niall Geokeegan in 7th. The gap now 0.7 seconds. Astrop's last lap a strong 123.951. Phil Bodkin is running in 14th position, and he's opened up a significant 3.6 second lead over Aidan McKenna in 15th.
That's a very comfortable buffer he's built up. It means he can focus on his own race pace, hitting his marks without feeling immediate pressure from behind, which is crucial as we head into the closing stages.
Unbelievable. Phil Bodkin has plummeted down to 18th position. That's a huge loss of places.
He's now 15 seconds behind Aidan McKenna, who is up in 14th. That's a massive turnaround in such a short space of time. He must have had a serious moment, perhaps a spin or an off-track excursion that cost him dearly.
Jareth Hallam is holding 15th, with Sam Zero still lurking just 0.3 seconds behind in 16th. Hallam's last lap was a 129.980, a bit off his best.
That gap is far too close for comfort, especially with the drop in his last lap time. When you're losing pace like that, it makes you vulnerable to an attack. He'll need to find that rhythm he had earlier to prevent Zero from making a move.
John Astrop continues to hound Niall Geokeegan for 7th, the gap now tightening to 0.4 seconds. Astrop's last lap, a 124.206. The gap between John Astrop and Niall Geoghegan has opened up slightly to half a second, still putting pressure on for 7th. We've seen some big shifts in positions in the last few minutes, particularly with Phil Bodkin's sudden drop down the order.
That was a really unexpected turn. Building up a decent gap, then suddenly losing it all. It shows how unforgiving Oran Park can be. One small mistake is amplified into a huge time loss here. You really can't let your guard down.
And on the flip side, Jareth Hallam is battling hard, but his lap times are starting to falter a little.
Yes, that drop in pace is a concern. It could be tires, or perhaps the car isn't handling as well as it was earlier. When you're losing tenths like that, you start defending instead of attacking. And that's a dangerous place to be in a close battle.
It's fascinating to watch the different strategies play out as we near the end of the race.
Absolutely. Now is when the mental game becomes even more critical. Do you push for that extra tenth and risk it all? Or do you conserve and defend? I've been in races where I've had to make that split-second decision multiple times a lap.
The consistency from drivers like James Allen at the front is remarkable given the conditions and the pressure.
It truly is. To maintain that level of focus and precision lap after lap, especially with the wind we've had, speaks volumes about his skill. He's managing the race beautifully from the lead.
We're running out of time, so every pass, every defensive move becomes even more impactful.
Agreed. Now it's about making those moves stick. There's no time to recover from a failed overtaking attempt. It's all or nothing for some of these drivers, especially in the thick of the midfield.
Daniel Kosick in 9th is absolutely flying, right on the tail of Niall Geoghegan for 8th, just 0.2 of a second separating them.
Kosick is clearly pushing hard. That 124.138 lap is strong. When you're this close, it's about finding that small window of opportunity, either a late break or a better exit, and then committing to the move. Geoghegan will be feeling that pressure.
Unbelievable. James Allen has lost the lead and is now in 2nd. Martin Mol is ahead by 0.3 seconds. James Allen is still holding P2, maintaining that 0.3 second gap to Martin Mol at the front. Sam Zero is in 16th, half a second behind Nico Vaughn in 15th. Zero's last lap was a 129.045, quite a bit off his best of 126.284.
That half-second gap isn't insurmountable, but the difference between his best and last lap time indicates he's struggling to find that consistent pace right now. He'll need to clean up those laps if he wants to close in on Vaughn.
Niall Geoghegan in 9th, just 0.2 behind Daniel Kosick for 8th. The pressure is truly on. Huge changes for Niall Geoghegan. He's dropped a place to 10th, and that gap to Daniel Kosick has exploded to over 6 seconds.
That's a massive loss of time and position. To go from 0.2 behind to over 6 seconds back in such a short period, he must have had a major incident. A spin, a big lockup, or possibly contact. That's a real blow to his race.
And it's getting worse for Niall Geoghegan, now down to 12th position, and that gap to Daniel Kosick is a staggering 12.2 seconds.
He's definitely still in trouble out there. That's another 2 places lost, and the gap just keeps growing. Whatever happened earlier, it looks like it's still costing him dearly, or he's had another incident. It's tough to recover from multiple setbacks on a track like this.
Martin Mol is in the lead, just 20 seconds from the checkered flag, with James Allen now 0.9 seconds behind in 2nd. Martin Mol crosses the line. He wins the race at Oran Park, an incredible drive from 3rd on the grid. James Allen takes 2nd place, a strong finish after leading for much of the race. Jody Fannin takes the final podium spot, finishing in 3rd after starting 2nd.
A very solid drive from Fannin. Holding on to a podium position from the front row isn't easy, especially with the close battles we've seen today. Consistency paid off there.
And following them across the line, it's Chris Stokes in 4th, David Constable-Berry takes 5th, Maximilian Turbin finishes 6th, and John Astrop comes home in 7th. Further back we see Daniel Kosick take 8th, Nigel Walters in 9th, John Buntakis grabs 10th, and Neil Constable-Berry rounds out the top 11.
Those positions in the middle of the pack are always fiercely contested. Every single one of those drivers would have fought tooth and nail right to the checkered flag, knowing that every place matters, regardless of whether it's for a podium.
Crossing the line next are Niall Keegan in 12th, Tim Weller finishes 13th, Nico Vaughn 14th, and Sam Zero in 15th. Aidan McKenna finishes 16th, Phil Bodkin in 17th, Josh Mitchell 18th, and Jareth Hallam crosses the line for 19th.
It's been a tough race for some of those drivers who made up positions only to lose them. But to finish a race at Oran Park is an achievement in itself, especially after all the drama we've witnessed.
And Thomas Kruger-Dorado brings his car home in 20th position, completing the field.
Every single driver battled hard today on this challenging circuit. That's the end of a very hard-fought race for everyone involved.
Welcome everyone, we are live at the legendary Oran Park Grand Prix circuit, and the tension is palpable as the lights are about to go out. Thomas Kruger-Dorado, representing the United Kingdom, starts from pole position in his Pro-Am class TCL Lotus Cortina MKI. Right alongside Kruger-Dorado on the front row in P2 is Jareth Hallam, also from the UK, and in another TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
2 Cortinas on the front row. That's going to make for some classic racing into turn 1. You know these cars, they're precise, but they demand respect on the limit.
Further down the grid in 4th position is Phil Bodkin, representing England in yet another TCL Lotus Cortina MKI, but competing in the AM class.
Even though he's AM class, starting P4 in a Cortina means he's got pace. I've been in races where an AM driver surprises everyone with their consistency.
From Ireland, Aidan McKenna is next on the grid in position 5, driving his TCL Lotus Cortina MKI in the AM class.
P5 is a good place to be on this grid, especially with the pack so tight. He'll be looking for any opportunities early on.
Nico Vaughn, an AM class driver in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI, lines up in 7th position. And in 8th, we have Tim Weller, another UK driver in an AM class TCL Lotus Cortina MKI. Niall Keegan from Ireland is also in an AM class TCL Lotus Cortina MKI, starting from 9th position.
That's a strong contingent of Cortinas in the top 10. All AM class drivers showing they mean business. Getting a clean run from P9 will be key here.
Rounding out our top 10 starters, Neil Constable-Barry from the UK in his AM class TCL Lotus Cortina MKI. Just outside the top 10, John Boontakis from Greece in position 11, driving an AM class TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
He'll have a good view of the action ahead into the first corner from P11. Sometimes a little further back can be an advantage to avoid any early drama.
Down in 13th, we find Daniel Kosick from Hungary, a Pro-Am class driver in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
A Pro-Am driver starting in P13 shows this is a competitive field. He'll be looking to make up ground quickly, especially in a car like the Cortina.
John Astrup from New Zealand, a Pro-Class driver, is in position 14 with his TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
A pro driver starting in the mid-pack, that's interesting. He's got the skill, so watch for him to carve through the field in these early laps. That's where a lot of races are won or lost.
David Constable-Barry from England in the Pro-Am class starts from 16th position in his TCL Lotus Cortina MKI. And in 17th, we have Chris Stokes from England, a Pro-Class driver, in his TCL Lotus Cortina MKI. Jody Fannin, a Pro-Class driver in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI, is on the grid in 18th position.
Another pro driver starting further back. It's a long race, and some drivers prefer to stay out of the early skirmishes and then pick their way through. It's a strategy I've used myself in crowded starts.
The lights are out and we are underway at Oran Park. Kruger-Dorado, who started on pole, has already lost a position. He's down to 2nd.
That's a surprise. Someone got a superb launch. It's all about getting the power down cleanly off the line, especially in these Cortinas.
Josh Mitchell, who began in 3rd, has dropped 1 spot to 4th. Josh Mitchell has indeed dropped a place from third to fourth. Not the start he would have wanted.
Losing a position in the opening moments can disrupt your rhythm. He'll be working hard to regain that spot quickly and not let the leaders get away.
David Constable-Berry holds his starting position of 16th on this opening lap.
Sometimes holding your ground is a win in itself on lap 1, especially mid-pack. It means he's kept his nose clean.
David Constable-Berry has slipped to 17th, and incredibly, Jareth Hallam, who started second, is now just ahead in 16th by a mere 10th. We're now with Niall Geoghegan running third and navigating the sweeper, just 3/10 behind Aidan McKenna in second position.
The sweeper demands absolute commitment and precision. Any slip there and that 0.3 second gap to McKenna could vanish. It's an important section for lap time.
Now focusing on Josh Mitchell in fourth, with Neil Constable-Berry only 4/10 behind, chasing hard in fifth.
Keeping a car behind you when they're that close for an entire lap is a test of nerves. Mitchell needs to hit every apex perfectly now.
Huge changes for Josh Mitchell. From fourth, he's plummeted all the way down to 18th, and Neil Constable-Berry is now well ahead in sixth, almost 10 seconds up the road. Josh Mitchell drops another place to 19th, while Neil Constable-Berry is now in 8th, though the gap between them has narrowed slightly to 8.7 seconds. Chris Stokes in P14, right on the tail of James Allen in 13th, just a 1/10 of a second separating them. Stokes remains in 14th, still hunting James Allen in 13th. The gap now slightly larger at 0.2 seconds.
Even a 10th can feel like a mile when you're pushing for an overtake. Stokes will need to be patient, pick his moment.
Chris Stokes has lost a position, now in 15th, and the gap to James Allen in 13th has stretched to 0.8 seconds. Now with John Astrop in 14th on lap 2, just 0.2 seconds behind James Allen in 13th. John Astrop has made the move. He's now up to 13th, putting 0.3 seconds between himself and James Allen, who has dropped to 14th. Maximilian Turbin runs in 11th, with a 0.7 second cushion over Sam Zero in 12th. Huge drama for Maximilian Turbin. From 11th, he's plummeted to 19th, and Sam Zero is now ahead in 12th with a 2.8 second advantage.
To drop that many places in such a short time, he must have had a major moment. Maybe an off-track excursion, or a big lockup that cost him valuable time.
Sam Zero is in 14th, right on the bumper of James Allen in 13th, only a 1/10 of a second separating them.
This is where the pressure really builds. Being that close, you're constantly looking for an opening. Allen needs to be flawless.
Sam Zero has dropped a place to 15th, and James Allen in 13th now has a 0.7 second lead. Another position lost for Sam Zero, now in 16th, as James Allen in 13th extends his lead to 1.2 seconds. Maximilian Turbin is in 19th, just 3/10 behind Josh Mitchell in 18th. They're battling at the back. Turbin has gained a spot, now 18th, and he's right on Josh Mitchell's tail in 17th with only a 1/10 separating them.
He's really fighting to recover. When you lose ground like that, it's about not giving up and finding every opportunity to make it back.
Nico Vaughn is in 19th on lap 3, 1.8 seconds behind Jareth Hallam in 18th. Nico Vaughn holds 19th, still 1.8 seconds back from Jareth Hallam in 18th. Jody Fannin is flying. In 4th position, he's just 2/10 behind John Buntakis in 3rd as they enter Momo Corner.
Momo Corner is a great place to set up an overtake if you're brave enough. Fannin is clearly on a charge, showing that pro-class pace.
Fannin is still right there in 4th, maintaining the 0.2 second gap to Buntakis in 3rd. John Astrup is in 8th, but Tim Weller is literally alongside him in 9th, a 0-second gap. Astrup holds 8th, but Weller has dropped back to 10th, now 0.8 seconds behind. Chris Stokes is up to 9th on lap 4, just 0.2 behind John Astrup in 8th position.
Stokes is making progress. He's found some rhythm and is now closing in on Astrup. This could be another exciting battle to watch.
Chris Stokes has dropped to 10th, with John Astrup in 8th, now 0.5 seconds ahead. It's been a truly dynamic race so far, particularly with the amount of overtaking and position changes we're seeing.
This circuit, Oran Park, it really separates the committed from the cautious. Every corner has consequences here.
And these TCL Lotus Cortinas are certainly being pushed to their limits.
They are, and the wind speed, that 14 that was reported earlier, it's not insignificant. You can feel that through the faster corners, it really affects the balance of the car.
We've seen drivers gain and lose multiple positions in a single lap.
It's all about momentum and knowing when to attack. Sometimes holding position is smarter than pushing too hard and making a mistake.
Chris Stokes is once again on the move, up to 11th and just a 10th behind Martin Mole in 10th.
He's relentless, Stokes. That's the sign of a pro driver, even if he's starting from further back. He's just chipping away at the field.
Stokes remains 11th, still challenging Mole in 10th. The gap is extended slightly to 0.4 seconds.
Mole must have put in a strong sector there, or Stokes had a slight bobble. Those tenths add up quickly on this track.
Josh Mitchell is in 17th, just 0.3 seconds behind Thomas Kruger Dorado in 16th. A close battle developing there. Josh Mitchell is still 17th, but the gap to Kruger Dorado in 16th has grown to 0.6 seconds. James Allen is in 9th, just 0.2 behind John Astrup in 8th. He set his best lap of the race already too.
He's clearly found some pace. That personal best lap indicates he's pushing hard and gaining confidence. Astrup will have to defend well.
James Allen has made the move. He's up to 8th, with John Astrup now behind him in 9th, a 0-second gap separating them.
That's a classic switchback move right there. When you see that 0-second gap, it means they're wheel to wheel, or have just completed the pass. Brilliant driving.
Chris Stokes is in 11th on lap 6, 0.5 seconds behind John Astrup, who's now up in 10th. Huge changes for Chris Stokes. He's dropped to 13th, but he's now ahead of John Astrup, who has fallen even further back to 14th with a 0.3 second lead.
Wow, that's a massive shift in positions for both drivers. Astrup must have had some real trouble to drop that far. Stokes will be relieved to be ahead now, despite losing ground overall.
This mid-pack has been absolutely brutal. Positions changing almost every corner, it seems.
It's relentless out there, especially in a car like the Cortina, where drafting and slipstreaming are so critical. You have to be aggressive, but also smart.
We've seen some incredible recoveries and some equally dramatic falls down the order.
That's Oran Park for you. One small mistake can cost you several positions, or if you get a good run, you can carve through traffic. It's a very tactical race.
It certainly keeps us on our toes, not knowing who's going to be where next.
Every lap is a new challenge. You're constantly calculating, pushing, and trying to anticipate what the car ahead or behind is going to do.
Thomas Kruger Dorado, our pole sitter, is now in 15th, 0.4 seconds behind Sam Zero in 14th.
From pole to P15, that's a tough day at the office so far for Kruger Dorado. He's got to dig deep to find that early pace again.
Kruger Dorado remains in 15th, still chasing Sam Zero in 14th, the gap slightly closing to 0.3 seconds. Chris Stokes in 12th is navigating Shell Corner, 0.4 seconds behind Tim Weller in 11th. Stokes holds 12th, the gap to Weller in 11th, remaining at 0.4 seconds.
They're running a very similar pace right now. Weller is doing just enough to keep Stokes at bay, which is a tough mental game.
David Constable Barry is now in 9th position, just 2/10 behind Martin Moll in 8th.
Constable Barry has really worked his way through the field. That's a great recovery drive from P16 on the grid.
David Constable Barry has gained another position, now up to 8th, but Martin Moll is still ahead in 7th, now with a 0.3 second lead.
He's flying! Moll will be feeling the pressure now. That sort of pace from Constable Barry means he's finding grip where others aren't.
Chris Stokes in 12th is closing on Tim Weller in 11th, now just 2/10 back, and he set his best lap. Chris Stokes has done it. He's moved up to 11th position, with Tim Weller now behind him in 12th, a dead heat.
That's what you call a successful overtake. Zero gap means they were probably side by side across the line, or it was incredibly tight at the corner. Brilliant drive by Stokes.
Chris Stokes has dropped to 13th, losing ground to Tim Weller, who is now in 11th and 3 seconds ahead.
3 seconds is a huge loss for Stokes after that last battle. Something must have happened. A costly error, or perhaps a loss of traction, that allowed Weller to break away so significantly.
Aidan McKenna is in 10th, just 0.2 seconds behind Maximilian Turbin in 9th. Aidan McKenna remains in 10th, but Maximilian Turbin in 9th has stretched his lead to 1.1 seconds.
That's a significant increase in the gap. Turbin must have found some clean air, or McKenna made a slight error. You have to be consistent to hold these gaps.
Aidan McKenna drops to 11th, and Maximilian Turbin in 9th now leads him by 1.7 seconds.
He's definitely losing momentum out there. It's a shame, he was looking strong earlier in the race.
Phil Bodkin is running second, just 0.4 seconds behind leader Jody Fannin on lap 9. Bodkin remains second, but the gap to leader Jody Fannin has grown slightly to 0.5 seconds. Chris Stokes is in 12th, with a 0.7 second buffer over Thomas Kruger Dorado in 13th. Chris Stokes holds 12th, the gap to Kruger Dorado in 13th, now 0.6 seconds. Jody Fannin is absolutely flying and is just 20 seconds from the checkered flag, holding a 0.9 second lead over Phil Bodkin.
He's managed that gap beautifully in these final stages. At this point, it's all about consistency and bringing it home cleanly. You don't want to make a mistake this close to the finish.
And Jody Fannin crosses the line to win. From 18th on the grid to victory, what an incredible drive. Phil Bodkin comes home in second place. A strong finish for the AM class driver who started 4th. And John Boontakis takes 3rd. From 11th on the grid, that's a fantastic podium finish.
He drove a really smart race, Boontakis. Quietly consistent, kept his head down and made the moves when they counted. Deserved podium for him.
Following them across the line, Daniel Kosick finishes 4th, James Allen takes 5th, Nigel Walters secures 6th, and Martin Moll comes home in 7th. Rounding out our top 11, David Constable Barry finishes 8th, Maximilian Turbin 9th, Tim Weller 10th, and Aidan McKenna takes 11th. Thomas Kruger Dorado finishes a disappointing 12th after starting on pole, followed by Chris Stokes in 13th, John Astrup 14th, and Sam 15th.
It just goes to show you, pole position doesn't guarantee anything. Kruger Dorado certainly had a challenging race after such a strong start.
Finally, Neil Constable Barry crosses the line 16th, Josh Mitchell 17th, Jareth Hallam 18th, and Nico Vaughn completes the field in 19th. The practice session continues. Just under 9.5 minutes left on the clock for teams to fine-tune their setups. Just over 8 minutes remaining in the practice session, and we're still waiting to see Daniel Kostis set a lap time.
Sometimes a team will be running through a specific test plan, or just doing shakedown laps before pushing. I've done that myself when trying new components.
Nigel Walters has yet to register a lap time as the clock ticks down. Just over 7.5 minutes left in practice. Exactly 7 minutes left in this practice session, and David Constable-Berry is yet to put a time on the board.
This could be strategic. Perhaps they're waiting for track conditions to improve, or simply running through a different setup test. I've been in that position myself, waiting for the optimal moment.
Jody Fannin is currently through Foster's dip, but still without a lap time as we have just over 6.5 minutes left.
Foster's dip is a real commitment corner, especially in practice. You're looking for stability and confidence there before you can really push for a time.
Jareth Hallam is currently in Momo Corner, still waiting to put a lap time on the board with under 6 minutes remaining.
Momo Corner can really expose any balance issues you might have, especially with a fresh setup. Getting it right there early in practice gives you a lot of confidence.
Nigel Walters is now heading under the Yokohama Bridge, yet to register a lap time with 5 minutes and 24 seconds left.
The run under that bridge is often part of a high-speed section, so it's all about aero and engine performance. It can feel like a wind tunnel, sometimes affecting the car's stability.
With less than 5 minutes left, Neil Constable-Berry is yet to put a time on the board in this practice session.
This late in practice without a time, it suggests they're either really struggling with a setup issue or perhaps running a very specific long-run test. I've had sessions where we focused purely on race pace and didn't chase a qualifying lap.
Nigel Walters remains without a recorded lap time as the practice session winds down. Just 4 minutes and 20 seconds left. Chris Stokes is currently negotiating Foster's dip. Still no time on the board with under 4 minutes left in practice.
He'll be pushing hard through there. Foster's dip is one of those places where you really feel the car's downforce working, or not working, as the case may be.
Martin Moll is yet to register a lap time, with just over 3 minutes left in this practice session. Josh Mitchell is currently in Coca-Cola corner, still no lap time from him, with less than 3 minutes to go. A new name on the leaderboard. Nigel Walters now with a 123.449, slotting into second position. He's currently through the Oran aluminium dogleg.
That's a strong first showing, coming in so late in the session. The Oran aluminium dogleg is crucial for maintaining momentum, so he clearly found a good rhythm quickly.
And Jody Fannin goes fastest. A 123.093 puts him into P1, knocking Walters off the top spot with just over a minute and a half remaining.
That's a very impressive time, coming in right at the sharp end of the session. It shows real intent and confidence in the car. I've always loved finding that sweet spot right at the end of practice.
Maximilian Turbin is currently making his way through the Oran aluminium dogleg, still without a registered lap time as the session enters its final minute and 19 seconds. Daniel Kosas now on the board with a 123.629, good enough for third position. He's just done that with less than a minute left.
He really left that late, didn't he? But it's a solid time and a good confidence booster. Sometimes you just need those final few laps to put it all together. I've been there, chasing that perfect lap right at the end.
Tim Weller is yet to post a lap time with just 20 seconds remaining in this practice session. Jody Fannin still holds onto the top spot, a 123.093 the benchmark, with just 11 seconds left on the clock.
These final moments are often about drivers doing one last check, or pushing for that final improvement. It's a sprint to the finish line even in practice, just to gauge where you are.
John Astrop now on the board. A 124.272 puts him into 7th as he navigates Coca-Cola Corner with 36 seconds left. Maximilian Turbin now registers a lap time. A 124.305 puts him into 8th position. He's currently through the Yokohama Bridge section, just over a minute left.
That's a solid lap to get on the board, especially this late. Yokohama Bridge can be tricky, it's where you really feel the car's stability at speed, so a good time there means they're finding some balance.
John Astrop has put in a 124.272, which places him in 7th position with just under a minute and a half of practice remaining.
That's a decent marker for John. Getting a representative lap in before the end of practice is key, even if it's not at the very sharpest end of the grid.
Welcome back to Oran Park. The qualifying session is about to begin under a blustery 13 miles per hour wind.
This circuit always demands respect, and with that wind, it will be an even bigger challenge for car setup and driver confidence. I remember a few hairy moments through the S's here myself.
Qualifying is officially underway, but Maximilian Turbin is yet to set a lap time with just 4 minutes and 39 seconds left on the clock.
He'll need to get out there quickly. The pressure really builds when you're cutting it this fine, especially with those gusty conditions at Oran Park.
Now it's David Constable Barry, who still hasn't posted a time, only 4 minutes and 21 seconds remaining in this short qualifying blast.
You really feel that clock ticking down when you're still in the pits. Getting one clean, quick lap in these conditions is going to be crucial.
And Niall J. Geegan still hasn't registered a time either, with the clock now showing just 3 minutes and 49 seconds.
This is where the nerves start to fray. You're trying to find a gap, get the tires up to temp, and put a flyer in, all in one go. It's a real sprint.
Maximilian Turbin is still without a lap time, and the session clock ticks down to just 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Maximilian Turbin finally puts a time on the board, and it's a 1:23.830, immediately slotting him into provisional pole with 2 minutes and 8 seconds to go. Nigel Walters rockets to the top of the leaderboard with a stunning 1:23.577, taking provisional pole with just under 2 minutes left.
That's an incredible first lap, showing he's really pushed the limit straight out of the box. That wind will have been a factor, but he's clearly found the grip.
Sam Zero is another driver yet to set a time, with only 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining now in qualifying. John Astrop is still looking for a lap time, the clock showing just 1 minute and 32 seconds left. Nico Vaughn also without a time on the board, with just 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining in qualifying. Maximilian Turbin is currently P6, but he's flying 0.26 seconds up on his personal best as he sweeps through Momo Corner with just 1 minute and 11 seconds remaining.
He's really extracting everything from that car now. To be this far up on your previous best at this stage of the lap, with the clock ticking, that's a testament to digging deep and finding the rhythm.
Turbin improves his time, a 1:23.692, that moves him up to P5 with only 45 seconds left in qualifying. Nigel Walters is on another hot lap. He's P4 currently, but he's already 0.14 seconds up on his personal best with just 37 seconds left. Martin Moll, currently P2, is pushing hard and is now 0.16 seconds quicker than his best lap, with only 27 seconds remaining. Sam Zero, currently P11, is on a charge. He's over a second quicker than his personal best on this lap, with just 15 seconds remaining. Aidan McKenna is P14, but he's just slightly off his best time on this lap, with only 6 seconds left on the clock.
He's really going to have to find something special through the final corners to make this lap count. The pressure is immense in these dying moments.
Niall Geoghegan, currently P9, is pushing hard and is now 0.08 seconds quicker than his best lap, with only 7 seconds left. Jody Fannin, currently P2, is absolutely flying through Momo Corner. He's over 2/10 faster than his best lap, with just 16 seconds left.
This is a make-or-break lap for Fannin. Being this far up through Momo Corner means he's found a lot of speed, and he could be looking at pole here.
Jody Fannin takes pole position, a brilliant 1:23.022. Absolutely sensational with only 40 seconds left. Nigel Walters improves his time to a 1:23.221, putting him into P3 with 49 seconds remaining on the clock. Martin Moll pushes harder, posting a 1:23.174, taking P2. He's currently 0.11 seconds up on his time on this lap. Phil Bodkin is flying through Recaro Corner, already a full second up on his best lap and looking to climb from P18. Phil Bodkin improves significantly, posting a 1:25.154, moving him up to P14 with 1 minute and 16 seconds remaining. John Astrop is currently P7, but he's a second down on his best time on this lap with 1 minute and 30 seconds left in the session. Welcome everyone, we are live at Oran Park Grand Prix Circuit, a brisk breeze of 6 knots across the track as the cars line up. Jody Fannin, the pro-class driver in the TCL Lotus Cortina MKI, is on pole position today, a fantastic qualifying effort.
Starting from pole here at Oran Park is crucial. You want a clean run into turn 1, no mistakes from Fannin in this classic machinery.
Further down the grid, in third position, we have Nigel Walters from the United Kingdom, also in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI running in the M class. David Constable-Barry, hailing from England, will be starting from 4th position in his TCL Lotus Cortina MKI, competing in the Pro-Am class.
P4 is a good starting spot, often away from the immediate chaos of the front row, but still in a strong position to challenge the leaders early.
Right behind him, in 5th, we find Chris Stokes from England, another pro-class driver in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI. From the middle of the pack, we have Maximilian Turbin in 6th place on the starting grid. Next up, it's John Astrop from New Zealand, starting from 7th position, another pro-class competitor in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
7th can feel a bit exposed in that midfield battle, but if you get a good run out of the first turn, you can really pick up places quickly. I've had some great starts from there.
James Allen from the United Kingdom will be lining up in 8th place, competing in the Pro-Am class in his TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
This part of the grid often sees some intense wheel-to-wheel racing. Managing the tire wear early will be key for Allen here.
Moving further back, Neil Constable-Berry from the United Kingdom is on the grid in 10th position, another AM-class driver in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
From P10, it's about staying clean in the opening laps and then looking for opportunities as the race unfolds. Patience will be rewarded for Constable-Berry.
Just behind him in 11th is John Boontakis from Greece, also in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI running in the AM class.
Bountakis will be looking to pick off some spots early. Finding a rhythm in that midfield pack can be tough but rewarding.
Gareth Hallam from the United Kingdom is starting from 13th position today in his TCL Lotus Cortina MKI, a Pro-Am class competitor.
From P13, Hallam will need to be smart and aggressive, picking lines and looking for gaps in that busy mid-pack. It's where races can often be won or lost in those early laps.
Phil Bodkin from England is down in 15th position, another AM class driver in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI. Sam Zero from the United Kingdom is starting from 16th position, also in an AM class TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
P16 means you're really fighting for every inch, but a strong racecraft and consistent lap times can easily see Zero climb through the field here.
Next up, it's Nico Vaughn from Not Known, starting in 17th, another AM class driver in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI. Aidan McKenna from Ireland is starting from 18th position today in his AM class TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
You really have to pick your battles carefully from back here. Finding clean air is always a priority to prevent overheating and maintain tire integrity.
The lights are out and we are underway at Oran Park. A fantastic start to this race. Jody Fannin, who started on pole, has lost a spot and is now running in 2nd position on this opening lap. Josh Mitchell, who started in 14th, remains in 14th position as they complete the first lap.
Sometimes holding your position on the first lap is a victory in itself, avoiding any early incidents. Now Mitchell can look to build.
Josh Mitchell still holding firm in 14th place after that opening lap. A steady start for him.
Maintaining position like that in the middle of the pack can be challenging. A clean run for Mitchell in those crucial first corners.
Aidan McKenna with a superb start, up 4 places already from 18th to 14th position.
That is an excellent opening lap from McKenna. Clearly found some gaps and capitalized. Gaining 4 spots early is exactly what you need.
Nigel Walters has certainly dropped down the order, now in 11th position after starting 3rd on the grid. He's battling Gareth Hallam, who is just 0.3 seconds ahead in 10th.
That's a tough opening lap for Walters, losing a significant number of places. Hallam, however, is making progress, and that gap is incredibly tight. They'll be right on each other's bumpers.
We're now with John Boontakis, running in 8th position on this first lap. He's chasing James Allen, just 0.3 of a second ahead in 7th. Boontakis just set a 1:35.144 on that first circuit.
That 0.3 second gap means they are practically nose to tail, and we've still got 9 minutes plus an extra lap remaining. This early fight for position is crucial for track advantage.
Niall Gio Hegan is currently in 12th, hot on the heels of Nigel Walters. Only 0.3 seconds separate them. Gio Hegan's first lap was a 1:37.785. Niall Keegan has gained a position, now up to 11th. He's still right behind Nigel Walters in 10th, with that same 0.3 second gap between them.
It's relentless pressure from Keegan. Holding that close margin takes incredible focus. Walters will be feeling that car right in his mirrors. Every corner matters when it's this tight.
Chris Stokes is now in 13th position on lap 2, 2.4 seconds behind Sam Zero in 12th. His last lap was a 1:25.600.
That 2.4 second gap to Sam Zero means Stokes has some work to do. Keeping that 1 minute 25 seconds and 6 milliseconds pace consistently will be vital to start closing that down. It's a significant margin in these cars.
Jareth Hallam is currently in 11th position, chasing Neil Constable-Berry in 10th, only half a second separating them. Hallam just set a 1:24.668, his best lap of the race so far.
Hallam is really pushing now. That 1:24.668 is a strong lap time, and he's clearly got the pace to challenge Constable-Berry. This could be a battle for that top 10 spot right here.
Tim Weller is in 16th position on lap 2, with John Astrop breathing down his neck, just 0.2 seconds behind in 17th. Weller posted a 1:25.008 on his last lap, his best so far.
Having a car just 2/10 behind is immense pressure. Weller will be focused on hitting every apex to avoid giving Astrop any opportunity. That lap time is decent, but consistency will be key now.
John Astrop is in the Recaro corner, just 0.2 seconds adrift of Tim Weller ahead in 16th. Astrop's last lap, his best, was a 1:26.655. And Astrop has made the move. He's up into 16th position, now ahead of Tim Weller with literally no gap between them.
That's a textbook overtake, finding that fraction of a second at the right moment. Astrop has clearly been working for that, and the reward is a gained position. Now he needs to consolidate.
Chris Stokes has made fantastic progress, now up to 12th, and he's right on the tail of Sam Zero, just 0.3 seconds back in 11th. His last lap came in at a 1:33.902.
That's an incredible recovery from Stokes. He's really found his rhythm and eaten up that gap to zero. He'll be looking for any opportunity now. That pressure is immense for the driver ahead.
Looks like Sam Zero is pulling away from Chris. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through Foster's Dip.
Goldilocks is really going to need to push in Foster's Dip to try and gain some ground on Sam before they disappear into the sunset.
Josh Mitchell is currently in 19th position on lap 3, trailing Phil Bodkin in 18th by 0.6 seconds. Mitchell's best lap so far was a 1:25.404.
Mitchell has the pace with that 1:25 best lap, so he knows he can reel in Bodkin. He just needs to execute a clean run, and that half-second gap will evaporate quickly.
Wow, what a move from Josh Mitchell. He's not only passed Phil Bodkin, but he's pulled out a massive 12.5-second lead, now running in 18th position.
That's an incredible swing in positions and gap in such a short space of time. Mitchell must have had a phenomenal section of the track, or perhaps Bodkin had a significant moment to lose that much time.
John Astrop is in 15th position on lap 4, closing in on Aidan McKenna in 14th, with just 0.3 of a second separating them. Astrop's last lap was a 1:25.478, his best so far.
Astrop is making excellent progress here. That 1:25.478 shows he's got the pace and is clearly focused on pushing forward. McKenna will need to be very defensive now with Astrop right there.
The pursuit is on. Tim Weller is closing the gap on Nico Vaughn, determined to claim P16. Tim Weller continues to hold 17th, still just 0.3 seconds behind Nico Vaughn. That battle for 16th remains incredibly close. John Astrop is still in 15th, pressing Aidan McKenna extremely hard, now only 0.2 separating them for 14th position.
Astrop is absolutely relentless. That gap shrinking to 0.2 seconds means he's right on the rear bumper of McKenna. This is a prime overtaking opportunity. I know what he's thinking right now.
John Astrop maintains 15th, still just 0.2 seconds behind Aidan McKenna. The pressure continues for McKenna. Nico Vaughn is in 16th position on lap 5, now 0.4 seconds behind John Astrop in 15th. Vaughn's last lap was a 1:26.644, with his best at 1:26.338.
Vaughn is maintaining a solid pace, but has a bit of a gap to close to Astrop. He needs to find those extra tenths to put pressure on and maybe capitalize on any small mistake.
Huge change there. Nico Vaughn has dropped to 17th position, and John Astrop, now in 14th, has pulled out a massive 6.2 second gap.
That's an enormous swing in a short amount of time. Either Vaughn had a big moment, or Astrop has just put in some incredibly quick laps to not only gain places but create such a significant margin.
James Allen is now in 6th position on lap 5, just 0.6 seconds behind Maximilian Turbin in 5th. Allen's last lap was a 124.231, with a best of 123.907.
Allen is really pushing with that best lap time, and 6 tenths is definitely a manageable gap to Turbin. He'll be looking to maintain that pace and force a mistake or find an opening.
Tim Weller is in 16th, half a second behind Aidan McKenna in 15th. His last lap was a 127.510. Tim Weller remains in 16th, but that gap to Aidan McKenna in 15th has widened slightly to 0.7 seconds. Chris Stokes is up to 11th on lap 6, 0.8 seconds behind Jareth Hallam in 10th. Stokes put in a rapid 123.64 one last lap, his best at 123.493. Chris Stokes is still in 11th, but he's closed that gap to Jareth Hallam for 10th to just 0.7 seconds. James Allen is still in 6th, absolutely hounding Maximilian Turbin, only 0.2 seconds between them for 5th. Allen's last lap was a 123.533, his best in the race.
This is exactly the kind of battle we want to see. Allen has found serious pace, and he's right on Turbin's tail. I've been in that position. You're constantly looking for a way past its intense.
And James Allen has done it. He's through into 5th position, with Maximilian Turbin now in 6th, and literally 0 seconds separating them.
What an incredible move by Allen. He clearly got a fantastic run and executed it perfectly. To be side by side like that and still come out ahead is fantastic driving.
The pressure is on for Baldylocks as they try to catch up to Jareth Hallam. Chris Stokes holds 11th, with that 0.4 second gap to Jareth Hallam, still holding for 10th position. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Turbin, who is currently in P6. But James Allen is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Maximilian Turbin.
Indeed, the tension is palpable as Turbin tries to reel in James Allen. But James Allen is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Can Maximilian Turbin find some extra pace to bring the fight to Allen?
Niall Geokeegan is in 13th, 1.1 seconds behind Neil Constable-Berry in 12th. Geokeegan's last lap, his best, was a 123.642. Niall Geokeegan is still in 13th, but he's closing in on Neil Constable-Berry for 12th. The gap now down to 0.8 seconds.
Geokeegan is definitely on a charge. He's found some real speed and is eating into that gap. Constable-Berry will be feeling the heat. That half-second advantage is fading fast.
Chris Stokes has made brilliant progress. He's now up into 10th position and through the Coca-Cola corner. Sam Zero is right behind him, just 0.1 seconds back in 11th. Huge change there. Chris Stokes has dropped back to 13th position. Sam Zero is now well ahead in 10th. A massive 3.4 second gap has opened up.
That's a dramatic turn of events for Stokes. A real disappointment after making such good progress. He must have had a moment or run wide somewhere to lose that much time and 3 positions.
What a race we're having so far. The positions are changing constantly. It's really hard to keep track of everyone.
It's vintage racing. At its best, this circuit really tests drivers and machinery, and you see how quickly fortunes can swing.
We saw Chris Stokes drop 3 places and lose over 3 seconds in what felt like an instant after such good progress.
That's how it goes out there. One small mistake, a slightly missed apex, or a wheel on the grass, and suddenly you're defending hard, losing momentum. It's a fine line.
And then James Allen makes a phenomenal move to gain a spot, showing that precision can still win out.
Absolutely, Allen capitalized brilliantly. Being that close, you have to commit completely when the opportunity arises. It's a huge adrenaline rush, but also demands complete trust in your car and your opponent.
The nature of Oran Park, with its tight turns and elevation changes, must amplify that pressure.
This track is relentless. There's no real rest anywhere. It rewards bravery, but punishes impatience. And you have to be so precise with the throttle and steering inputs.
It's fascinating to see the AM-class drivers holding their own against some of the more experienced pros and pro-ams.
It speaks to the talent in the field, doesn't it? These cars demand respect, and skill shines through regardless of the class designation.
With only a few minutes left, we could still see plenty more drama unfolding on track.
Oh, for sure. No one is giving up, and every single position matters. Expect a grandstand finish.
Martin Mall holds the lead with 20 seconds left until the checkered flag, but Jody Fannin is only a second behind, closing in fast. Martin Mol crosses the line. A brilliant drive from second on the grid to take a well-deserved victory here at Oran Park.
What an absolutely fantastic performance from Mall, driving with such control and managing that pressure perfectly to secure the win.
Jody Fannin takes second place, a strong finish for the pole sitter after a hard-fought race. Daniel Kosick completes the podium, finishing in third after starting way back in ninth position. Rounding out the top 7, we have Maximilian Turbin in 4th, David Constable-Berry 5th, Nigel Walters 6th, and James Allen finishing in a respectable 7th. Further down the order, John Boontakis takes 8th, Jareth Hallam 9th, Sam Zero 10th, and Neil Constable-Berry in 11th.
A lot of great battles for those midfield positions, every point hard-earned out there today.
Niall Geokeegan crosses the line in 12th, Chris Stokes in 13th, and John Astrup completes his race in 14th position. Aidan McKenna finishes in 15th, with Tim Weller coming home just behind him in 16th. Josh Mitchell crosses the line, taking 17th position after an eventful race.
17th is still a completion, and for some, just seeing the checkered flag is a victory, especially after what he went through out there.
And Phil Bodkin crosses the line, bringing his car home in 18th place. Nico Vaughn is the final finisher, crossing the line in 19th position. Welcome, race fans. The tension is palpable here at Oran Park Grand Prix Circuit, with a brisk wind of 9 knots adding another element to today's proceedings.
This track demands absolute precision, and with that wind, the drivers will be working extra hard to keep the car settled through the faster sections.
And down in third position, we have Josh Mitchell from Italy piloting the classic TCL Lotus Cortina MKI, a formidable machine in the AM class.
Third on the grid is a strong starting point, especially for an AM driver. Getting the jump on the cars around him will be key in that Cortina.
Right behind Mitchell, in fourth, we find Tim Weller from the United Kingdom, also in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
Two Cortinas side by side, that's going to be an interesting battle into the first corner. Fourth position means a good run up the outside is a possibility.
Further down the grid in sixth is John Astrup from New Zealand, a pro-class driver, also campaigning a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
Sixth is a decent spot for a pro driver. He'll be looking to use that experience to make up places early, especially if there's any congestion ahead.
And in seventh, another TCL Lotus Cortina MKI with pro-class driver Chris Stokes from England.
Rounding out this pack of Cortinas, in eighth, is Niall Geokeegan from Ireland, an AM-class driver who will be keen to hold his own.
Starting from the ninth position, Neil Constable-Berry will need to navigate through the field to challenge for the win. Completing this formidable group of Cortinas in 10th position, we have Sam Zero from the United Kingdom, an AM-class driver.
10 cars in a row, all the same make and model. That's a unique situation and promises some incredibly close racing through the opening laps. Every driver will be looking for any advantage.
And breaking that run of AM-class drivers in 11th is Gareth Hallam from the UK, a Pro-Am class driver, also on a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI. Following Hallam, we have John Boontakis from Greece, another AM-class driver in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI, starting in 12th.
These Cortina drivers are absolutely stacked. It's going to be a real chess match in the midfield, looking for clean lines and small opportunities.
And down in 14th, we find Nigel Walters from the United Kingdom, yet another AM-class driver in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI. Right behind Walters in 15th is David Constable-Berry from England, a Pro-Am class driver, also in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
This grid is an absolute sea of Cortinas. These drivers will know these cars intimately, which often leads to very hard but fair racing.
And in 16th, we have Maximilian Turbin from England, an AM-class driver in the same TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
Every single one of these drivers will be looking for a perfect start. Getting ahead of the immediate traffic is crucial to avoid getting stuck in the pack.
Further back in 18th, we have Jody Fannin, a pro class driver in a TCL Lotus Cortina MKI.
18th is a long way back for a pro driver. He'll need to be aggressive but smart, picking off cars without getting into trouble.
The lights are out, and we are racing here at Oran Park. A clean start off the line for most.
That initial burst off the grid, the wheel spin management, that's where you make or lose positions in those first few meters.
Nico Vaughn holds the lead, maintaining that pole position through the first corner. A great start for him. Gareth Hallam, starting in 11th, holds his position for now in the packed midfield.
Holding your spot in a dense grid like this on the first lap is an achievement in itself. It's all about survival and keeping clean.
Hallam continues to run in 11th, maintaining his grid slot as the field settles.
He's keeping it steady, that's crucial on the first lap. No point taking unnecessary risks in this traffic.
These early salvos will shape the outcome of this race. Sam Zero holding strong in 8th, and now we see John Boontakis right on their tail, just 0.3 of a second separating them.
Zero has done well to make those two places, but Boontakis will be looking for any opportunity. That's a tiny gap. He's definitely in the slipstream.
Daniel Kosick in 13th, with Nigel Walters just 0.2 behind him in 14th as they complete the first lap. Kosick logging a 1:39.327 on that opening. Daniel Kosick has gained a spot, now up into 12th position, with the gap back to Nigel Walters, now just 0.3. Martin Mole in 16th, navigating Shell Corner with Josh Mitchell just 1/10 ahead. Mole's first lap came in at 1:39.933. Martin Mole has made the pass. He's now in 15th, with Mitchell immediately behind him, the gap non-existent.
That's what you call a switchback or a late lunge. To make up that place and then immediately have the rival on your bumper, that's intense. Mole will need to defend hard now.
Mole continues his charge up to 14th, while Mitchell has fallen further back to 17th, now 0.6 behind. Maximilian Turbin in 13th, right on the gearbox of Gareth Hallam, only 0.2 separating them. Turbin's first lap clocked at 1:40.052.
Turbin is pushing hard to close that gap. 0.2 is nothing. He'll be looking for an opportunity to make a move, perhaps into the next braking zone.
Maximilian Turbin has made the move, now up to 12th. Hallam right on his bumper, the gap completely evaporated.
That was a perfectly executed pass by Turbin. He knew exactly where to put the car. Now it's about holding the line and trying to break the toe.
Nigel Walters, now in 12th on lap 2, just 0.2 off Maximilian Turbin in 11th, setting a best lap of 1:28.465. A big change there for Nigel Walters, who has dropped 3 places down to 15th, and that gap to Maximilian Turbin has stretched right out to 4.2 seconds. A significant drop for Nigel Walters, now in 17th, losing a further 2 places. And that gap to Turbin has ballooned to a massive 13.6 seconds.
That's a huge amount of time to lose in such a short period. Something must have happened there, perhaps a moment off track or being forced wide. He'll need to regroup quickly.
Up at the sharp end, Chris Stokes is running in second, just 2/10 behind leader Phil Bodkin, and Stokes just set a blistering 1:24.095 best lap.
Stokes is absolutely flying. To be that close to the leader and set the fastest lap of the race so far, he's definitely got the pace. He's applying real pressure to Bodkin.
Stokes still in second, but the gap to Phil Bodkin has widened slightly to half a second. Down in 14th, Jareth Hallam is chasing Martin Mole with just 2/10 between them. Hallam's last lap, a 1:29.749, his best. Nico Vaughn, who led earlier, has dropped down to 7th, holding a 9/10 lead over John Boontakis. Vaughn's last lap, a 1:26.444. A dramatic change for Nico Vaughn. He's plummeted down the order to 15th position. John Boontakis is now well ahead in 9th with a huge 13.3-second gap.
Wow, that is a monumental loss of positions for Vaughn. To drop that many places and have such a gap open up, something definitely went wrong there. He's got a lot of work to do to recover.
Vaughn drops another spot to 16th, though he has managed to close the gap slightly to Boontakis, now 8.6 seconds. Martin Mole in 11th is closing on James Allen in 10th. 4/10 the difference. Mole's latest lap, 1:27.864.
Mole is looking very consistent out there. He's clearly found a rhythm and is reeling in the car ahead. That's how you make up places over time.
Mole remains in 11th, but the gap to James Allen ahead has now stretched out to 7/10 of a second.
He's lost a little bit of ground there. It could be traffic, or Allen might have just found a bit more pace in that sector. Mole will need to dig deep to close that again.
Tim Weller is now up to 3rd, pushing hard. Just 4/10 behind Phil Bodkin in 2nd, and Weller's best lap is a very quick 1:24.106.
Weller is putting in a fantastic drive. That 1:24.106 is seriously fast. He's got the pace, and he's clearly looking for a way past Bodkin. This could be a fight for the podium.
David Constable Berry in 15th, just 3/10 behind Nigel Walters in 14th. Constable Berry's best lap is a rapid 1:23.865.
That lap time from Constable Berry is absolutely stunning, considering he's down in 15th. If he can keep that pace up, he's going to carve through this field. That's a Pro-Am driver showing his class.
Jareth Hallam holds 13th, now 3.1 seconds behind Sam Zero in 12th. Hallam's fastest lap, a 1:24.759. A big drop for Jareth Hallam, now down to 18th, and the gap to Sam Zero has stretched to over 15 seconds. Jareth Hallam continues to lose ground, now down to 19th position, with the gap to Sam Zero extending to a massive 17.5 seconds.
Something is clearly not right with Hallam's run. To be losing that much time in positions, he's either had an issue or is struggling significantly with the car.
James Allen in 9th is closing in on John Boontakis, now just half a second back. Allen's best lap, a very strong 1:23.519. Allen's still in 9th, but he's closed the gap to Boontakis even further, now just 4/10 of a second. James Allen has made the pass. He's up to 8th. John Boontakis has dropped to 10th, now half a second behind Allen. Tim Weller, through Champion Curve, holds 3rd, half a second adrift of Phil Bodkin in 2nd. Weller just completed a 1:24.393 lap. Weller closes the gap to Bodkin, now just 3/10, separating 2nd and 3rd.
He's really pushing hard now. That's a textbook move, incrementally closing the gap. He's setting himself up for a pass.
Daniel Kozik has climbed to 7th, just 3/10 behind Maximilian Turbin in 6th. Kozik's best lap is a 1:24.599.
Kosic is on a charge in the midfield. 3/10 is absolutely nothing. At this level, he's within striking distance of Turbin right now.
Kosick closes up even further to Turbin, just 2/10 separating them now.
He's absolutely glued to the back of that car. If Turbin makes any slight error, Kosick will be right there to capitalize.
Neil Constable Barry in 16th is just 3/10 behind Aidan McKenna in 15th. Constable Barry's best lap, a 1:25.050.
He's finding some pace out there. That 1:25.050 is a solid lap. He's looking to put pressure on McKenna and make up a spot.
Constable Barry remains in 16th, but the gap to McKenna has stretched out to 0.6 of a second.
He's lost a little bit of ground, perhaps through a slower section or dealing with some backmarker traffic. He'll need to refocus to reel that back in.
Niall Geokeegan has moved up to 4th position, half a second behind Phil Bodkin in 3rd. Geokeegan's best lap, a rapid 1:23.509.
Geokeegan is absolutely flying. That 1:23.509 is a fantastic lap. He's showing incredible pace and is clearly a contender for a podium spot. He's got Bodkin in his sights.
Neil Constable Barry in 16th, again just 3/10 off Aidan McKenna in 15th, trying to make that move.
He's persistent, isn't he? He's managed to close that gap once more. He's clearly found some pace and wants that position.
Tough break for Neil, who has just lost a position.
That's gotta hurt. Neil Constable Barry will be kicking themselves right now.
This race has been a real cracker so far. The amount of position changes, especially in that midfield, is just incredible.
It really highlights how competitive this field is. When I was racing, holding your line and maintaining concentration in such close quarters was often harder than making a pass.
We've seen some dramatic drops too, with drivers like Vaughn and Hallam losing a significant number of spots in quick succession.
That usually means a moment, a spin, or getting caught out by another car. One small mistake can snowball very quickly when the gaps are so tight.
But then we have drivers like David Constable Barry pulling out those incredible lap times from the back, showing what's possible.
Absolutely. Finding that clear air, even for a moment, allows you to show true pace. It's all about exploiting every single opportunity out there.
And those battles at the front for 2nd and 3rd are heating up nicely, with Weller and Geokeegan really putting the pressure on Bodkin.
Yes, the tactical game is starting now. They'll be thinking about where they can gain an advantage in these closing minutes. It's a mental as much as a physical battle.
It's fascinating to see so many Lotus Cortinas battling it out. It really makes for compelling racing.
They're all familiar with the car's limits, so it becomes a test of driver skill and daring. You know exactly what the car can do, which can be both a blessing and a curse.
David Constable Barry is now up to 13th, closing on Nigel Walters in 12th, just 3/10 separating them. Constable Barry has a rapid best lap of 1:23.065.
That best lap time from Constable Barry is incredible. To be posting that kind of pace from the mid-pack shows he's got serious speed. He's absolutely on the hunt.
Constable Barry remains in 13th, but the gap to Nigel Walters is now extended to 6/10.
He's lost a little ground there. It could be that Walters picked up the pace, or perhaps Constable Barry had a small moment. That 1:23.065 shows he has it in him, though.
Neil Constable Barry in 16th with a 6/10 buffer over Josh Mitchell in 17th. Constable Barry logged a 1:26.328 on his last lap. Neil Constable Barry has gained a position, now up to 15th, and Josh Mitchell has slipped back further, now 0.3 seconds behind in 17th.
He's definitely found some consistency in that last sector. Good job gaining a place. Now he's got to focus on pulling away from Mitchell.
Jody Fannin has climbed to 5th, just 3/10 behind Phil Bodkin in 4th. Fannin's best lap is an impressive 1:23.192. Fannin closes even further on Bodkin, now just 2/10 separating them in the battle for 4th. Martin Mole in 9th, closing on Daniel Kosick in 8th, just 3/10 the difference. Mole's best lap is a 1:23.367.
Mole is looking very strong in these later stages. That 1:23.367 is a serious lap time for this part of the field. He's got the pace to make a move.
Martin Mole makes the pass. He's up to 8th, with Daniel Kosick immediately behind him. The gap's 0. And Daniel Kosick immediately retakes the position. Mole drops back to 9th, now just a 10th behind Kosick. Martin Mol is still in ninth, but Daniel Kosic has managed to stretch that gap slightly to half a second now.
Kosic is doing a good job of defending and getting some breathing room after that intense battle. Mol will need to find that extra bit of pace again.
Chris Stokes is absolutely flying out front with just 20 seconds left until the checkered flag. He holds a commanding 1.6 second lead over Tim Weller.
A 1.6 second lead at this stage is a comfortable margin. He's managing the gap perfectly, just needs to keep it clean for these final moments.
Chris Stokes takes the checkered flag and wins the race. What a phenomenal drive from 7th on the grid.
An absolutely brilliant performance. To climb from 7th and manage the lead like that in the final minutes, that's a truly championship caliber drive.
And Tim Weller crosses the line in a superb 2nd place, an excellent result for him having started from 4th. Niall Giagigan takes 3rd place on the podium. A brilliant climb from 8th on the grid for that AM class driver. Jody Fanon comes home in 4th, followed by Phil Bodkin in 5th. Maximilian Turbin takes 6th, and James Allen secures 7th position. Daniel Kosic finishes 8th, Martin Mol in 9th. John Bountakis takes 10th, and Nigel Walters rounds out the top 11. David Constable-Barry crosses the line in 12th, Sam Zero in 13th. John Astrup takes 14th, and Neil Constable-Barry secures 15th.
A strong finish for David Constable-Barry after that incredible pace earlier. And a lot of those Cortinas finishing right there in a cluster, as expected.
Aidan McKenna finishes in 16th, with Josh Mitchell coming home in 17th position. And Jareth Hallam crosses the line to take 18th position, a tough race for him today.
He certainly had some challenges out there, but he brought the car home. Sometimes just finishing is a victory in itself, especially after losing so many places mid-race.